you're on.
Good morning. This is the August 2nd Walton County Technical Review Committee. Hope everybody can hear me now. We're changing our format up just a little bit, and that will probably be changing some more over the next couple of months so that we can operate a little more efficiently. Given that this morning's agenda has 19 projects, we expect next month to probably be even greater than that. So at some point we're probably going to consider going to 2 technical review committees meetings per month like we used to do before our economy crashed to accommodate the large volume of projects that we're now receiving applications for. As part of our protocol this morning, for those of you that are applicants, when your item comes up on the agenda, if you could approach this table over here and be prepared for your presentation. Our planners will be sitting at this table as they make their presentation, and we'll try to get the meeting completed as efficiently and as effectively as possible this morning. Do we have any other announcements? We have no minutes to approve this morning, so we'll move straight to project reviews. The first item on our agenda this morning is the Grand Point Estates plat, request to approve by final Mylar.
Good morning. Is it on? Rita Banhunyari. This is a Grand Point Estates is a plat application submitted by David Smith on behalf of D.R. Walton, requesting approval on 8-lot subdivision on a 1.35 acre with the future land use of neighborhood infill. The project is located off of Grand Point Drive at Inlet Beach. The plat does not have any outstanding technical issues. From last TRC, it was held up because of some public concern about the development. Since then, our development inspector went out to the site, inspected. Based on his review, everything's going according to the approved development order. The planning department does not have any objection against this plat application. If anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you, Rita. David.
Hey, good morning, TRC. And I'm David Smith with Interlight Engineering, and I'm representing the applicant, D.R. Walton. And as Rita presented, this is a 8-lot subdivision. It's a plat application that's under review for conformity to Florida Statute, Chapter 177. So we are platting consistent with the approved development order, and construction's actually under construction per that approved development order. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about the plat in relation to Chapter 177, and we would like to rebut or answer any questions the public may have too, if that's okay.
Any questions about the technical comments?
I have no questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any technical questions from the audience? Mr. Smith.
The residents of Grand Point still have a lot of concerns with respect to this and whether public notice was ever given regarding this development. Our attorney has requested all the documents from Walton County regarding the original development order, which was issued in 2005 and was extended to 2013. But then after that, it was never, they asked for another extension in 2015, but it had already expired. In 2015, a less than minor development order was done to update traffic concurrency, and that would have been something that would not have been needed to be updated if a development order was currently in place. So we feel that the residents were never notified as to what was going on, and that the development order had expired, and that they should have to reapply from the beginning.
In this particular case, I have some personal knowledge of this particular development. The attorney for the applicant had applied for an extension of time based on tolling of time of the expiration date of the development order due to litigation for some period of years. When that occurs, the Land Development Code allows that meter, if you will, on the expiration date not run during the time that it's under litigation.
So it would not be...
So it did not expire. However, the traffic had expired as of July 10, 2010 by operation of law, and that's why we required them to do new traffic analysis. So there is no gap in time on this particular development order.
Let's see. Would they need to... I mean, that would be over a decade without any kind of notice. I mean...
It was already approved, and the notice was provided in the original development order application processing.
2015. Okay.
And as for the plat, there is no notice other than the publication in the newspaper of the consideration at the Technical Review Committee.
Okay. Was that done?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Melissa Ward for Dunlap and Chipman. In relationship to the questions that were asked, I would ask that the information be provided about the extension and why it transpired from 2013 to 2015. In addition to that, we'd like a copy of the original development order issued and the extension to which this less than minor was approved. The less than minor development order language is somewhat vague as to what the less than minor covers, what it was for. So if that couldn't be provided in like a copy of the application that explains what they were asking for in the less than minor.
We'll be happy to do that.
Thank you. Do you need, I think I've already given my information.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melissa. We have any other technical questions from the audience? There being none, do we have a motion from the plan?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to conditionally approve the Grand Point Estates plat and move it forward to the Board of County Commissioner meeting, the next available County Commissioner meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This motion carried. Item number 2, the mobile fixture showroom warehouse, requested approved by final order. Project reviewed by Bob Baranti.
Good morning. This is a major development order application submitted by David Lamar on behalf of Wayne Donald, requesting approval to construct a 25,088 square feet kitchen showroom / warehouse. The project is located on US Highway 331 in Norris Cutoff Road. The parcel is 1.87 plus or minus acres with a future land use of light industrial. Mr. Chair, this project came before you to the TRC last meeting. It was continued because of the fact that there were some questions from Public Work regarding accessing the historical drainage. Public Works has reviewed, made comments that could be satisfied at the resubmittal. They have spoke with the applicant. He understands I believe he understands what he needs to submit. The applicant should be able to get the approval of Public Works at the next resubmittal.
Thank you, Bob. Comments from the applicant?
Good morning. I'm David Lamar, the project engineer. We have responded, or I've received the comments from Public Works. We have a response in work. The drawings are being modified at this point. I hope to bring them back and submit the entire complete package to Bob first of next week. And in my understanding, we would have answered all the comments, questions, except for the questions in the environmental regarding the SWIPI and the notice of intent, or the 10-2 permit. Those would be provided at a later date, but I think we've complied or will comply with that response. So I appreciate your consideration sending us to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any technical questions from our public this morning? Seeing none, what's the vote of the committee?
I would like to make a motion to consider a motion to conditionally approve the mobile fixture warehouse showroom once staff's comments and resubmittal has been completed.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Mac, I'm going to abstain from voting for North End projects.
Okay. There being no further comments, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
This will move forward to Planning Commission once comments have been satisfied. That brings us to item number 3, Shops at Inlet. Request approved by final order. And this is being reviewed by Tim Brown.
This item was continued from our last TRC meeting. This is a major development application submitted by McNeil Carroll Engineering, requesting approval to construct 13,462 square feet of retail on 1.46 acres with the future land use of infill and an Inlet Beach neighborhood plan designation of neighborhood commercial. It's located at the northeast corner of North Walton Lakeshore Drive and US Highway 98. They have not resubmitted since our initial TRC comments. However, they did resubmit based on the scenic corridor comments. So from that point of view, they're almost completely in compliance with the scenic corridor. However, there are still outstanding TRC comments remaining, and I do not believe the applicant is present.
No one here from the applicant? Given that we still need another resubmittal on this project, I'm going to recommend a motion that we continue this to the next month meeting.
So moved then.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further technical comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This one will be continued to the September meeting date. September 6th at 8:30 in this room. Okay, that brings us to item number 4, Waterfalls by the Bay. Request to approve by ordinance, and this is an amendment to the future land use map.
Mac, the applicant, had actually requested another continuance on this because they've gotten David Theriak involved to help, and he wasn't prepared for this one. He wanted to be ready for the next meeting, just to truncate it a little bit.
We can continue, your request is to continue to the September meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have any other technical comments related to this item? Do we have a motion to continue?
So moved.
We have a motion. Second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
This one will be continued to September 6th at 8:30. Okay, this brings us to item number 5, the Blue Mountain Beach Break, request to approve by development order. This project's being reviewed by Rita.
Yes, this is a minor development order application submitted by David Lavelle on behalf of Bar B LLC, requesting to construct a 2,014 square foot of fast food restaurant and beach supply retail store on a 0.35 acre lot with a future land use of village mixed use. This parcel is located on the southwest corner of Highway or County Road 30A and 83 at Blue Mountain Beach. This project has several major outstanding technical issues. It's been continued a number of times. I spoke with the applicant this morning, and he's not present, but he's fine with tabling this project until we address the technical issues on this particular project.
Okay, thank you. Would that be a motion to continue?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Table.
Yes.
Table.
Motion
Yes.
to table?
Motion to table, yes.
Second. By Bill. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This item is tabled until resubmitted. Okay, that brings us to item number 6, the Walmart liquor box expansion. Request to approve by final order, and this project's being reviewed by Tim Brown.
Thank you. This item was continued from our last TRC meeting. This is a minor development request submitted by CPH Inc. requesting approval to expand the existing liquor box at the Walmart by 5,048 square feet for a total of 83,338 square feet on 10.15 acres with the future land use of Town Center 2. Since our last meeting, there has been a resubmittal on this project. It is now in compliance. There are no outstanding issues remaining, but it is contingent upon the PUD amendment being approved by the County Commission.
The PUD amendment includes the parking deviation.
Yes, parking deviation.
Do you have comments from the applicant?
I have no questions on the comments provided.
Okay. Do we have technical comments from our public?
I'll have to recuse myself from that.
Yes, ma'am. You may come up.
Yes, Christy Coldaway. And I was, can you answer, Mr. Carpenter, about the units that you were talking about behind, that they were over on the number of, what did you call them, pods or?
The temporary storage containers?
Yes.
I do not have an update on that.
So is that going to be included?
She's got an update.
They've been removed and they're in compliance.
So they're going to remove those
They
and
did
leave
already.
space for
About a week ago they did.
for the employees. And you were also talking about parking on West Hewitt when that lot is full. And there were some trucks parking on West Hewitt. Were those Walmart involved or?
I wasn't aware, but they should not be.
So how do we stop that as far as, I know the parking deviation, is that the size of the parking or?
The parking deviation
Yes.
is part of a separate application to amend the planned unit development that this store occupies a portion of.
Yeah, the parking deviation is to reduce the total number of parking spaces from 320 to 302.
And you're in agreement with that? Did they show you that they had enough for,
They provided a parking study.
Yes.
They showed us the results of 3 other Walmarts located throughout the state. That'll move forward to the county commission for them to decide. We're not making a recommendation either way, but they're showing what 3 other locations are in terms of the required parking. And they're beach locations. It's not here, but they're beach locations.
with heavy traffic like 98 has? And seasonal tourists?
Yes.
This application is subject to the BCC approval of the PUD amendment.
Right.
If they don't approve that amendment, this application will not move forward.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Brewer, and then we'll get to you in the back.
My name is Ben Brewer. I'm a resident at 1624 Mac Bayou Road. I work on 774 North County Highway 393. And I just want to say that if it looks like there's more than 18 spots to be taken, parking spots for this project. And on any given weekend, those spots are all full all the time now. If they get rid of these that parking lot is pretty much essentially a whole parking lot. More people are crossing the road there. There are going to be people parked on the streets, on the roads around there. They already probably feels like they need a traffic cop out there as is. It's going to be even more of a madhouse than it is already if they took away these parking spots and added, I don't know how many people would come to this mecca of a liquor store, but it would be a lot more foot traffic and a lot less parking spots. And that's all my concern is. So I don't know if waiving I don't understand the PUD, what that is. But
Well, to be clear, they're eliminating 43 spaces because currently they have more than what's required. The PUD requires 320. They want to go down to 302. So as far as what the PUD requires, they're going down 18 spaces, but they're actually losing 43 spaces. But the PUD sets the parking standards for the Walmart, and they're asking to amend that to reduce it from 320 to 302.
so the best thing I do is talk to the BOC about it.
Right. Okay. The comments that you just shared with us would be very appropriate to share as part of that application's public comment.
Okay.
Because we're not addressing the parking issue within this application other than recognizing that they're requesting a reduction and that it has to be approved by the BCC as an amendment to the overall parent development of Walmart.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tammy Eby, and I live at 321 West Hewitt Road, so I'm within a stone's throw of Walmart. I probably can attest to what the scenario is there more than anyone. My question is, what traffic analysis has been done since the original PUD was issued? And if you look at the original PUD, it required that each phase and/or development had to do a traffic analysis, had to do intersection analysis. And I'm wondering if that applies now, if in fact they're going to get this amendment approved. I know that's kind of asking you a question that doesn't exist yet, but if in fact the amendment does get approved to change the PUD, are they going to be required to do a traffic analysis before this moves forward?
Tim, can you speak to traffic on this particular application?
Well, they have done a traffic analysis for the expansion, just the expansion, and that's going to trigger a $10,250 proportionate fair share contribution because they're putting more traffic out onto Highway 98. I'm not aware of any intersection analysis that's required, but they did provide a traffic study that outlined how many additional trips the expansion would put on the road. That has been provided.
In the original PUD, though, it did say that an intersection analysis on 30A, 98, East and West Hewitt roads would need to be completed during each phase of the development.
Well, I wasn't here when the Walmart was initially approved, but I'm assuming that happened at that time. When Walmart came in to get their initial approval from the county,
Gotcha.
that was done.
But I mean, it's saying each phase of development, not 2009, each phase.
But this is still phase one. I mean, Walmart is phase one, and when they came in and got it approved, they had to go through all those conditions of that approval.
Based on traffic counts in 2009.
I would think so, yes.
Okay. So that was my question, is whether or not any updated intersection analysis will be done?
Want to speak to anything going on in West Hewitt?
I'm not aware of an analysis being done at this point. I'm happy to talk with Chance Powell, our traffic engineer. I don't believe that we've seen anything at Public Works.
Yeah, and certainly
But
you
I
understand
will
my
check into it.
concern if we're adding 5,000 square feet, that it does in fact change quite substantially from 2009 what the traffic scenario is there. For the lady who commented earlier, I've been instrumental on getting the semis that routinely park on West Hewitt Road taken care of, and Chance has been very good at following through. Finally, after 4 years of us trying to address that issue, they're putting tow-away signs there, because it's absolutely insane the amount of congestion and traffic on West Hewitt, going in and out of Walmart and the apartment complex now, which factors heavily into the amount of traffic that it's dumping out onto West Hewitt. There's already been, and I intend to fully follow up with Walton County Sheriff's Office, there's been a few serious accidents at that intersection as you're turning in there, as well as on 98, of course, everyone knows that. But I think the issue is not so much the amount of traffic, but the density of traffic that we're now suffering from. It is a real issue there.
We'll take a look at it.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any other technical questions or comments from our public? There being none, do we have a motion?
This is a minor development because the PUD assigns each phase of the PUD as a minor development. However, it's in the scenic corridor, so it still requires design review board approval. So I would move to approve the project and move it forward to the design review board.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Subject to the PUD amendment being approved by the BCC?
Yes, your motion is subject to the parent development order amendment being
Yes,
approved
it's a
by the
condition in the staff report, and it'll be a condition of their approval that is conditioned upon that PUD amendment being approved. But right now, we're just moving it forward to the design review board.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This project's moved forward to the next available design review board meeting, which will be the September 7 DRB meeting. That brings us to item number 7, Water Sound Origins Phase 4, request to approve by final order. This development has been reviewed by Renee Bradley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a major development order application, which is submitted by Water Sound Company LLC and engineered by Internet Engineering, requesting approval of 361 single-family lot subdivision and associated infrastructure on 178.55 acres in the Water Sound North Plan Unit Development and DRI with a future land use of Coastal Village 1. There is quite a number of outstanding comments from planning, engineering, floodplain review. Fire department has a comment as well. This is not, I don't think these are comments that would necessarily cause a redesign of the project. However, there is quite a few. And I'd be glad to answer any questions and for the applicant.
Thank you, Renee. Good morning, David.
Hello, I'm David Smith with Interline Engineering, and we have been coordinating with staff, Ms. Bradley, and it's a large project, so there are some comments, but we feel very confident we can address the comments and provide additional clarification. So, we would respectfully request that it's moved forward, so we do feel like we can address all the comments. So I will coordinate with the staff members if it's okay outside of this forum if I do have any questions, but we can address the comments.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Do we have any technical questions from our audience regarding water sound origins phase 4? Seeing none, what's the wishes of the committee?
I would make a motion that we move this forward to the planning commission, but we won't set a date on planning commission till all technical comments have been met.
Motion by Renee, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Bill. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This will move forward to Planning Commission as soon as technical comments have been satisfied. This brings us to item number 8, the Bay Grove Office Park, lot number 15. Request to approve by final order. This minor development is being reviewed by Rita Banagnati.
Bob Ronnie.
Um,
I have the next two.
I think he took them over.
Okay, you took these over. All
Yes.
right, well, being reviewed by Bob then.
Mr. Chair, Bay Grove Office Park Lot 15 is very similar to the project that we saw last month, Lot 9 and 10. This is a minor development order application submitted by Mr. Brinkley on behalf of Bay Grove Property Management LLC, requesting approval to construct a 4,548 square feet of general business space. The project is located from US 331 north to Bay Grove Boulevard west into Bay Grove Boulevard, approximately 0.15 acres, or I'm sorry, 0.54 acres with future land use of general commercial. Mr. Chair, there is basically minor comments that can be satisfied at the resubmittal. The only comment that I have not received is the North Walton Fire Department. We have tried to get those comments. They're still outstanding. Staff will, as soon as staff gets them, staff will forward them to the applicant for his resubmittal. But anything other than that, there's nothing that really sticks out that would cause us to not be able to handle that a resubmittal.
Thank you, Bob. Comments from the applicant?
Ross Binkley. I don't have any questions about the comments. Nothing very difficult.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to conditionally approve Bay Grove Office Park Lot 15 pending successful resubmittal.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Aaron. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This one will move forward subject to comments. Satisfaction. Thank you, Bob. Next item is Bay Grove Office Park, lot number 16. Request to approve by development order. This is a minor development being reviewed by Bob Baranti.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, this project is very similar to the project that we just went over. It is project submitted by Mr. Brinkley on behalf of Bay Grove Property Management LLC, requesting to approve to construct a 4,500 square foot of general business space. The project is located in the same Bay Grove office park. It is on 0.50 plus or minus acres with a future land use of general commercial. The comments are relatively minor. Once again, I have not gotten the fire department comments on it. And I failed to point out on the last one, we added a public works drainage project section. There's a proposed drainage that will help the drainage of that whole area, and I just put it in for information's sake. It's my understanding that it's not been funded, but it's on the list for consideration.
I'd like to add to that too. On the previous project, I believe these two, as well as I think Mr. Stanford has a project. It's come to Public Works' attention that there's on the plat a private easement that does allow for historical drainage from the Brandon Oaks area. And we would like to meet with the applicants at some point to see if we can get that turned over to the county for maintenance. I know Mr. Charlie Cotton has been in discussions with some people, but we would like to continue to have those conversations if we could get that turned over to be a county maintained easement. It's actually between lots 3 and 4.
Okay, it doesn't affect these lots then?
No, but it's general overall for the Bay Grove Office Park. So during this process, and Mac may be able to help us on the proper way, but we would like to talk with applicants on, I guess, when some kind of association is developed, how we need to go about getting this turned over to the county.
You need to talk to all the lot owners in the platted subdivision.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Can you help coordinate that for us?
Yes. I think actually this applicant may own one of those lots, maybe lot 3. So I'll let him know to get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, we can set up a meeting.
Okay.
Do we have any other technical comments or questions related to this development? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to conditionally approve Bay Grove Office Park, Lot 16, pending successful resubmission of submittal.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Brings us to item number 10 on our agenda this morning, Coast Realty Office Relocation, request approved by final order. This is a major development being reviewed by Tim Brown.
Thank you. This is a major development or application submitted by Jenkins Engineering requesting approval to develop 1,885 square feet of commercial/office space on 0.96 acres with a future land use of VMU. Project's located on the north side of Highway 98 east of Oak Ferry Road and west of Apostles Way. So we have outstanding comments from planning, engineering, and the floodplain manager. Also included was the scenic corridor review, which there was some outstanding comments there, but they're pretty minor overall.
Comments from the applicant?
I'm Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering. We got these comments yesterday, actually, and we've reviewed them. Really don't have any questions. It seems to be pretty standard stuff. Be happy to answer any questions that you guys have, though.
See any problem in addressing any of these outstanding comments?
No, sir.
We have technical questions or comments from our audience. Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Yes, I don't see anything to hold it up, so I'll make a motion to approve the project pending resolution of all outstanding comments/issues and move it forward to the design review board.
Second.
Second by Ben. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Motion carried. This moves to DRB.
Thank you.
Number 11, the Palmetto Trace Townhomes, requested approved by final order. It's been reviewed by Tim Brown.
This is a major development order application submitted by Core Engineering and Consulting, requesting approval to develop 8 townhomes on 1.16 acres with a future land use of neighborhood infill. It's located on the west side of Don Bishop Road, north of Highway 98 and south of Hackberry Way. We've got planning, environmental, engineering, and compatibility analysis outstanding comments.
Comments from the applicant?
I just received the comments last night, so we really haven't gone through them. There's a couple of paperwork or housekeeping comments. I personally don't see anything that we can't overcome, but you know, it's the TRC's wishes as to what you want to do. Most of this is fairly straightforward. And by the way, this project did have an approval years ago, so it's already been through a process at least you know, several years ago.
We do have a number of outstanding technical comments on this one, but one that I think is probably the most critical is the compatibility analysis.
Sure.
And based on that, I would recommend that we continue this to the next meeting pending resubmittal. Could I get a motion to that effect?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any technical comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This item will continue to September 6th at TRC. Thank you. Next item is Bayview Estates. Requested approved by development order, and this project's been reviewed by Vivian Channel.
This is a minor development order application submitted by Core Consulting and Engineering, requesting approval of a 14-lot single-family subdivision on 2.57 acre parcel with future land use of neighborhood infill. It is located off of west of Forest Shore Drive. Little history: there is an unexpired final order on the project dated November 8th, 2005. The development order, however, has expired. The request is to remove one lot and the swimming pool amenity and improve the stormwater facilities. Therefore, we determined that it should go through as a minor development because of the adjustments to the final order. But these adjustments are basically downsizing and improving the stormwater facilities. There are some outstanding comments, quite a few actually. Number one in planning is that there appears to be that the stormwater facilities encroach into the landscape buffer more than a maximum of 40%, which would still at least require determination from the director to allow at least a 40% encroachment. There are also a couple of other items that planning has duplicated with the Public Works. It does show that the right-of-way is encroaching into preservation and landscape buffer in the cul-de-sac. Now, I know that the applicant is saying that it was approved that way originally on the major development order. However, it is still showing on the plans that were submitted this time, so I think we need to clear up whether or not we can request the applicant to make changes on the original project that was approved with those issues in the right-of-way. There is also a condition that came through from the 2005 final order that we would need to place on it, and that there is a cattle dip vat on the site, and we'll need to include that as a condition, that they shall conduct a phase 2 environmental test, and that would be a condition of the development order. There are quite a few engineering comments, and I'm not sure if we haven't received any responses yet. I'm not sure if those are too great to request approval at this time, or if it should be continued to address those items from engineering. There has not been any comment in writing. I did receive a couple of phone calls. One of the main issues seems to be the bridge on Walton Way, that it seems it's, I believe, rather narrow and maybe not in the best condition. I did refer those up to Public Works to address, but not as part of this project.
Any comment?
Not really. You know, this is a project that was approved, modified. The stormwater system was completely redone and improved based on the original development order or final order. So, you know, we feel confident we can get these items addressed with engineering and planning.
Yeah, I would like to get a comment from engineering, whether they feel the comments are something that could be satisfied without this item being continued, or whether we would like to see if we can get a resubmittal and then look for getting approval at the next TRC.
I think a lot of the comments involve changing it from the originally, what was it? They reduced the lot by one lot, and they had a pool amenity that they removed. So a lot of it is just cross-referencing previous reports. And I think that the applicant can satisfy the comments once they remove all those cross-references and straighten things out.
And to the applicant, do you think you'll be able to work out that more than 40% encroachment into the?
Yeah, we'll be able to do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do we have any further questions from our public? Yes, sir.
Frank King, 610 Walton Way. There seems to be a few things on y'all's behalf and also yours that haven't been addressed completely. I would like to see this addressed and in print before I can feel comfortable with this. I was a developer. I know what's going on both sides. I don't want to create problems for anyone, but there's some issues that I feel like need to be addressed. There's some safety issues on this street, as per the comments about the bridge, the location of it, and where it is how far it is away from where his driveway is going to be, because we don't even know where that is at this point. Is that correct?
Where the driveway is going to be?
You made a comment about where the drive.
I think that may have been an engineering comment.
Mm-hmm.
The driveway's been fixed for 10 years. I mean, it's
Right,
that's not
but we've also got a development order that has expired. Is that correct? Is that what was said
a few moments ago?
The development order has
technical
expired.
development order
However,
has
the
expired.
final order issued by the Board of County Commissioners had not expired, but the development order had. Therefore, they had to come back through because they were making adjustments to the final order by decreasing and improving some of the things that we determined that it should come back as a minor.
The final order was approved, but we're making changes to it.
Well, we're basically amending the plan. It's decreasing from its original size, the amount of lots, and
Right.
taking out the pool amenity and making for stormwater improvements, which in that area is really of high concern, and we're actually glad that they're going to be making improvements.
And we are too.
Yeah.
But we just want to know what they are. Okay? I just asked that it be clarified before it's approved.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, and this doesn't, this meeting here, obviously, we don't get full approval here. We're discussing the technical issues. Yeah, that's fine. We'll have a couple more rounds to go.
I still think that the amount of comments are significant enough to have everybody on board for the next TRC and look for a final there.
Yes, sir. Did you have some comments?
Yes. Steve Young, 620 Walton Way, and it's on the bridge. They're expanding 98, in that area, so this drainage is going to have an increased flow, on it, and the bridge is in the process of failing. So you can see where the conduit, has, started to, no longer has its original shape. The bridge has been patched with asphalt a couple of times to kind of fill in the bumps so it's not a major hazard, but there is no, from a construction standpoint, there is no place for those any 18-wheelers, any large trucks to turn around, so they're going to have to go all the way down and go over. So the increased load on that bridge, could make it fail. So just asking from a technical standpoint that the bridge, be included, because if it fails, then those of us down there, we're stranded. We don't have another way out.
Have any comments on the bridge?
I apologize, Mac. We haven't received this one to review. I'm not sure. I'll coordinate with Vivian. I'm not sure who she's contacted in Public Works.
No, I told the people to contact Public Works, the people who called
Okay.
here about the bridge, to separately contact it, not regarding this development, but in
Okay.
general.
The bridge is outside of the boundaries of the project,
Yes.
but provides access, or the access is across this bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, given the number of outstanding comments on this particular one, I would concur with you, Vivian, that we probably ought to look at this one a little bit longer.
The ditch is the western border of this whole development too. So the ditch goes straight out to the bridge.
Okay. Do we have any other technical questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to continue the project to the next TRC and get all of the comments addressed and hopefully get approval then.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Ben. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Motion is approved. This item will continue to the September 6th TRC, pending resubmittal. This brings us to item number 13, the Emerald Coast Business Center West Parcel C. Request approved by development order, and this is being reviewed by Bob Barante.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a minor development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering on behalf of Carter Building Company, LLC. They're requesting to construct 416 additional square feet to the previously approved 10,000 square feet Parcel C as approved in Development Order 16-001-00141. This is on Business Center Drive. As I said, the parcel was just approved. The development order was just approved in March. The new owner of the proposed building needed additional square feet, which turns out to be 416 square feet. It's on 1.10 plus or minus acres with a future land use of general commercial. I've gotten all my comments except the fire marshal's comments on this one. The comments are very minor on this, and staff doesn't really see an issue of making the small square footage change.
Thank you. Comments from the applicant?
Yes, Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering. As Bob said, this is a previously issued DO that's pretty recent that they're making some changes to. We have gotten the comments. We've actually already addressed them, and we plan on resubmitting today or tomorrow. So they're pretty minor. So if you don't have any questions from you guys.
Sammy, do we have any comments from fire? Yeah, I'd have it.
Bob, did you check on the 28th?
Yes, sir.
They were not in there?
I didn't see it in there.
I'll get them to you this week.
Okay.
If there's any issues,
Okay.
I'll contact you.
Yeah, the hydrants and those things are already there, so I don't think that'll be a problem. So.
Where is the 416 feet going on this plan? I mean, what part of the building's being expanded?
What they did, actually, they had one footprint previously that was 2 stories, and they changed it to 2 one-story buildings. So it's split between the 2 buildings.
Do we have any more technical questions or comments related to this particular development? I would recommend, if the motion is to move this forward, it would be subject to receiving satisfactory comment response from the fire department prior to finalizing it.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to conditionally approve the Emerald Coast Business Center West Parcel C development order once staff comments are addressed and the fire marshal comments, if any, are addressed and resubmitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise?
Thank you.
This item is conditionally approved, subject to satisfaction of comments and satisfactory review by the fire department.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That brings us to item number 14, the Live Oak Landing Check-In Office, request approved by development order, and this is being reviewed by Bob Barati.
Rita.
Rita.
With SWAT projects. Yeah, this is a minor development order application submitted by Ryan Cleveland on behalf of Freeport RVC LLC, requesting to convert an existing single-family residence to a check-in office for an RV park on a little less than an acre with a future land use of rural village. This project is located at 793 McDaniels Fish Camp Road at Freeport. We have some comments. Planning department have some comments, some clarification. Environmental department did not give us comments at this time just yet. Engineering has mostly stormwater related comments. From North Fire Department, we didn't receive comments. The biggest problem that we have found is this check-in office by itself on this lot is more so a commercial use, and in rural village land use it's not allowed. RV park in rural village is a conditional use. So maybe if the parcels would be combined, then it would make this use on this parcel allowable, but just as a individual use on this lot is not compatible. So that would be the biggest problem currently with this application. But it's fixable. If that would be something that you could work with, just fuse those lots.
What would that process entail?
That would be
Lot
just
split application fusion, a very simple process, just the two surveys and then combining the two, making it one parcel.
Well, the RV park currently, Ryan Cleveland, Cleveland Engineering, y'all know all of y'all, but the RV park currently, I think, is 3 separate parcels that are all under the same original development order.
I'm not sure we would need to combine the parcels by that process. We could combine them by development order amendment to add in this additional parcel to the previously approved development order. This development got special consideration through vesting of a certain number of RV spaces and cabins by the BCC based on the McDaniels Fish Camp historical use on this particular site. This is actually a safety improvement to this particular development to provide better access for the large Class A RVs that drive in and out of this particular facility that's designed specifically for that size vehicle. I would recommend that we take another look at this particular application and probably convert it to an amendment to the original development order to address the safety concern. And that will address the use in rural village, and it will also support that the BCC originally approved this particular development in this location. And this, I would see this as a safety improvement that's a benefit to the neighborhood and to those users of this particular development. So if we could, why don't we continue this item to the next meeting, and that'll give us time to basically retool the application and get it in the right format so that it could be approved. But I think this is having firsthand knowledge of this particular development and what the applicant is trying to do, this is a significant improvement in the traffic circulation for this particular RV park. I mean, it uses large vehicles, and this is a significant improvement to safety.
Okay, thank you.
So I'd recommend that we continue this to the next meeting to allow us time to review the application and get it in the right format.
I agree. I would like to then make the motion to continue this project until the next TRC meeting to allow time to figure out these comments, questions.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Any comments from our audience or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Motion carries. This will continue to the September 7th, and we'll work on this one in the meantime.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Rita. This brings us to item number 15, Palms at Inlet Beach, request to approve by final order. This is a major development being reviewed by Tim Brown.
Yes, this is a major development or application submitted by O'Connell and Associates requesting approval to construct 6 residential lots on 1.11 acres with a future land use of infill and an Inlet Beach neighborhood plan designation of residential 8 units per acre. It's located on the north side of Walton, Magnolia Lane, east of South Walton Lakeshore Drive, and west of Magnolia Dunes Drive in Inlet Beach. We have outstanding planning, engineering, and floodplain and compatibility comments. They're all relatively minor comments other than the compatibility analysis is incomplete.
We have comments from the applicant.
Melissa Ward for Dunlap and Shipman for the client. And with regard to the compatibility analysis, I spoke with Tim yesterday. There were charts that were left out of the compatibility analysis. I can turn it in on Friday, so that it's not considered incomplete and have to go back through the process. What was the comment was we'd done an analysis of the area, but the specific director's determination mentioned some averages on the issues that needed to be identified, and each one of those comments is just one of those blocks down that talks about the averages. So the chart, I rushed it in to get it in, unfortunately, and did not make sure that I had my chart in the actual analysis.
Do you have any questions on the comments, John?
No, John Nash with the Connell Associates. We reviewed them, we got them last night, and they're relatively minor. I think we can address the rest of the comments quickly. We'll coordinate with planning regarding those. And we would request that you send this forward to the Planning Commission.
Are you going to have any issues with moving the stormwater out of the landscape buffer?
No.
And mosquito control had the same comment about accessing it at that location.
Yeah, to address your comment on that, we'll review that. There's a substantial exfiltration system that covers this parcel. In fact, we're treating the 100-year storm without any discharge whatsoever. The low area he's speaking about is next to a retaining wall that we put a half-foot deep ditch next to it just to keep water from flowing over that wall. And we can look at that and revise it if necessary, but we shouldn't have any trouble with that. That particular hole, as you will, doesn't cover any of the impervious improvements on the site. It's just a slope that goes down to that wall. Does that make sense? And I'll coordinate with engineering and make sure we have a clear understanding on that. If we need to, we can revise it and provide it.
Yeah, but I think you can meet the 40% requirement.
It's more or less conveyance. It's not
right.
Really a management pond. But
What's the mood of the committee?
What do you think of the floodplain comments? Is he going to have any issues resolving that?
I know there's a density issue within the B zone.
we shouldn't have any problem with that.
Okay.
We can provide those calculations. To answer the floodplain, we'll coordinate that with y'all. We've gone through this before. This particular site's got a very small area within that V zone that's below 11 that's cut off from the surge area.
Right.
Walton Magnolia Lane's at 14, and the site's above 14 everywhere except for one little hole. And this particular site is, over the years, has had some dirt moved around on it, and there's been dirt piled up in different areas, and it makes it a very undulating site that makes that a little more complicated, but we can handle that without any issue, I believe. We'll just coordinate that with you, make sure we understand.
I was going to say, on the new preliminary maps, this area is being moved from the B zone. So,
Really?
and we're in the process of adopting that towards the end of this year. I don't know if there's a way around having those two lots in the V zone currently.
I believe we only have one that's completely in the V zone.
One that's
correct?
complete. I'd have to look at the site plan again. But yeah, we can work
We'll
together on
review
it
that.
for sure. Yeah.
So we feel like these comments are workable, or?
Ben?
Yes.
Do you feel it's workable?
Yes, we just, whenever we see a retaining wall, we know there's going to be water on one side of it.
just from the slope, just from the rainfall, and we just want to be able to access it. And that certain type of shrub there would block our access. We were just asking that we can walk up to it.
I'll contact y'all and see what we can do to provide what we can do in that area.
Okay.
It's a fairly significant slope, but it's not a very steep one, but it's wide. It's all in common area, and there's an area up at the T turnaround that's right there next to it that maybe you can access it from there. Maybe we need to provide something up front, but we can coordinate that. I'll contact y'all about that.
The majority of the stormwater that was being held in the exfil, I don't believe there's runoff from impervious area going to this common area.
And I personally believe that there's not going to be any chance of water holding in there. This site has a very good percolation rate. It's only a green area that's flowing to that area. And in fact, the improvements we're doing is going to reduce the amount of water that was flowing in that direction to begin with. Sure, I'm sorry. So anyway, I personally believe that area, and we can look at the calculations, but that area should have reduced runoff coming in that direction. Because it was a significant slope to begin with, and it's still going to be one, but all the impervious area is treated and not discharged from our exfiltration system.
Correct. And I believe the reason that it's sloping downhill and you didn't build the retaining wall because you didn't want to build the retaining wall 10 feet high.
Exactly.
So they're sloping from their proposed roadway elevation to the wall elevation, but they're providing a 1 foot difference between the grade and the top of the wall, or half a foot, so that in the event that we have large downfall, the stormwater is not going to roll over the wall and create any kind of issues that way. So I don't view it as a stormwater pond per se, because all their drainage is being collected in the exfil from their development. It's just to grade the site back down to natural grade and not build a wall that's an eyesore for the neighbors.
And just for informational purposes, this property was impacted by an easement whereby the neighboring property to the west was given permission to grade theirs flat and put all of their spoils onto this property. So what we're dealing with is one that is higher than its original natural grade, and without trying to dump it back over onto the neighboring property or dump water onto the property to the east, this is the mechanism in place to protect.
And I'd also like to mention that this site, if you look at the site plan, is very, it has lots of grades. It slopes from 5 up to 25 or something like that. We've done a volume calculation, and we don't anticipate having to haul any dirt in here. Site balances. So from that aspect, you know, we're moving some dirt around, but we don't anticipate this being a problem. Like I said, the storm management facility has been over-designed in order to make sure that we're not creating an issue on the property owners to the east.
Based on what I'm hearing, I will make a motion to approve the project pending resolution of all outstanding issues/comments and move it forward to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. I had one extra comment. Where is all the parking?
We have a comment on there to provide parking for a typical lot layout, and we intend to do that, but the layout was provided to point the lots toward the interior street. So in effect, each lot should have enough room for a garage with 2 cars, and outside of the garage should have at least 2 more cars. And that depends on what house gets built eventually, but I would anticipate that 4 cars would be able to fit in there, no problem.
Okay. Do we have any further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? This one will move forward, subject to outstanding comments satisfaction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brings to item number 16, Eden's Landing PUD amendment, request approved by final order. This major development is being reviewed by Tim Brown.
Yes, this is a major development order application submitted by Interlight Engineering requesting approval to modify setbacks for residential and commercial lots and to eliminate the previously approved design code for the project on 11.74 acres with a future land use of neighborhood infill. It's located on the west side of County Road 395 north of East Point Washington Road and south of Eden Garden State Park Road. There was no outstanding comments. This was only routed and reviewed by planning. I didn't make a comment, David, but it would be helpful if you would provide the design code.
Okay.
So we have it on file. And if anyone has any questions about what's actually being eliminated. But other than that, everything seems to be there for this PUD amendment.
Are your comments in the staff report?
Yes, well, there aren't really any comments, just background information.
Gotcha. So then the only comment would be to submit the existing design. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I have, I'm David Smith with Interlight Engineering, and I have no further questions.
For setback deviations.
Do we have an HOA here?
There is.
Have they signed off on this amendment?
They have. I know the current owner and the HOA, they're currently working through that, but I know they are having meetings, and then they will sign off on this. I know they're about to meet, like right now, if they haven't already done so, but they will be signing off on this if they haven't. Because the actual HOA too, Mac, is actually one of the applicants.
Just want to make sure that their voice is heard.
Right.
And given that we're changing design code, I would think that'd be very important to the HOA,
Right.
To be on board with that, and a participant in that process. Do we have any other questions or comments related to this particular application? Do we have a motion?
Yes, I will make a motion to approve the project pending resolution of all outstanding comments/issues and move it forward to the Planning Commission.
Okay, we have a motion to approve subject to comments and move forward to Planning Commission. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Anna. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? None, motion carries. This will move forward to PC, subject to satisfaction of comments. Thank you. Now we're moving to item number 17, South Walton Fire District Training Center.
Mac, in order to avoid any conflict of interest, I'm going to recuse myself from this one, if you think that is acceptable.
Thank you, and I recognize that. Do you have any technical comments related to the safety of this fire station?
None that are outstanding, none that would hinder this project or my career.
Okay. This is a request to approve by final order. It's being reviewed by Bob Barante.
Mr. Chair, this is a major development order application submitted by Conley and Whitaker Incorporated on behalf of the South Walton Fire District, requesting to approve to construct 1,980 square feet for a fire truck maintenance facility and training area along with office and storage space. The project is located west of the existing fire station at 911 North County Highway 393. The proposed parcel is approximately 1 mile on the west side, and it's 9.6 plus or minus acres with future land use of institutional. Mr. Chair, this is, if you're aware, we made a change to the ad. It had industrial on it in the application, and we changed it to institutional, and it's been corrected moving forward. This project came in the day after the deadline, so the applicant has had plenty of time to get the responses back. I believe the applicant has been able to meet those. In the meantime, the fire marshal has provided his comments since the printing of this staff report, and has no comments on and it was provided. So the applicant, I believe, will be able to respond to these comments and get it in response, so we can keep this moving on its time frame that we committed to. And I have nothing else to add.
Thank you, Bob. Mr. Henderson.
Yeah, good morning. John Henderson. I'm here today with Conley and Wicker, and most of the comments were about the wetland buffers and fill in the flood zone. All the impacts have already been made. This project was originally received a DO in 2009, had a dredge and fill permit, and all the asphalt, everything, all the impacts have already been made. We're changing a little bit of the grading, demoing a little bit of asphalt around. This is just another building in the rear, and we're changing the building, square footage of the building, modifying the asphalt, the grades a little bit around the building, but that's all we're doing in this project.
Any problem with the?
No. It's like you said, it's a previously developed site. They're not really moving too much around, and they're demoing quite a bit of asphalt, like you said. So I don't see any issues.
Okay. Do you have any other technical comments or questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to conditionally approve this project pending successful resubmittal of the plans with all comments addressed, and then move it to the Planning Commission for their consideration.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Ben. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Seeing none, the motion is approved. This will.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We'll move forward. That brings us to item number 18, Mallbridge LLC. Hope I pronounced that right. Request to approve by final order. This is being reviewed by Rita.
Yes. This is a major development order application submitted by Core Engineering on behalf of Mallbridge LLC, requesting to develop a 12,000 square foot of storage office space on a little less than an acre and a half, with a future land use of general commercial. The project is located on North Highway 331 on Bay Grove Boulevard. This is development also in the Bay Grove Office Park, of which have Anna from Public Works have spoke about that there's a drainage improvement going on, and they also would like to talk to the owners of those lot owners about the easement. Planning department have some outstanding comments. The previous development order, we wanted to look at to see if there's any additional comments that we might want to make, or that hard copy is currently at the scanning company and we couldn't get the information to review. I don't see any additional problem that might create, but I would like to review that. So I just made a comment on that whenever it becomes available, I'd like to look at it. The biggest outstanding comments on planning department was that you made reference to warehouse use that is not allowed in general commercial. So I don't know, we'll need to clarify that
Yeah, not a problem. We don't have a problem. Really what this is a storefront with storage for the retail space, but we understand that
Yeah.
we'll adjust the parking and the square footage accordingly. Our biggest concern is one access point.
Yeah.
This is actually 2 buildings on 4 lots, 4 platted lots that, based on the plat, can have 4 accesses. So we feel like we're improving circulation, improving the access on the driveway there at 331 by reducing the number of driveways. So I'd like the county to look at that and understand what the intentions of this developer and these spaces are.
I looked at the access points and I didn't have an issue with it. The code has a provision that allows the county engineer to make a determination based on circulation, and I didn't see an issue with it, for the record.
Well, we can look at that. The code says that maximum 1 access point shall be permitted to a particular site, unless it's approved by the county engineer. So we can look at it. It seemed like that 1 access point closer to 331 is with the entrance and that island. It's in a conflict location, but we can definitely look at it and talk about that. You said the parking can be addressed, then that's good. There were a couple of comments regarding the survey. I'm pretty sure that's pretty standard, that can be addressed. Grading,
Yep, we've got
that can be pretty easily
not a problem.
addressed. And it's in the North Fire Department District, and we did not get any comments back from them. Do you have any additional questions or
No, some of
anything
the
that
some
you
of the
see?
comments were with regard to the existing plat and the existing DO and the existing wetlands delineation, which, this is a platted, commercial subdivision, so all those items, including the stormwater and legitimately the traffic, are vested based on the original development order. Our biggest question would be the 2 access points.
Based on the access point, regarding motion, my thoughts were that if we were to ask the applicant to remove an access point, that it would require potentially substantial redesign, that we would probably want to ask him to, or we would recommend it to be continued. If the engineer does not think that we need to remove that access point, then we probably can go ahead and make a motion to approve. Bill?
Yeah, like I previously stated, I reviewed the circulation of the plan in regards to the access points, and I don't feel that it presents a problem with this relatively small commercial subdivision. And I was trying to look here on the plans, but there's a pretty good distance from 331 to that first entrance, which would provide some queuing if there were to be a backup. And I don't feel that it would cause any problems on 331.
Thank you. Anna?
Yeah, I don't see where this would, we're happy to take a look at it, but I don't see where this would cause a major redesign by any means, even if you had to relocate that access point. But I'm happy to take a look at it.
Well, based on those comments, I would like to make a motion to conditionally approve this project, and move it forward to the Planning Commission, subject to all comments being met.
Second.
We have motion and second. Do we have any further questions or comments or discussion?
I'll make a comment that we just approved the mobile fixture showroom warehouse that had 2 access points off of the Norris Cutoff Road based on circulation.
Yeah, I would concur that I don't think that the 2 access points is an issue, and this is actually 4 commercial lots. We could potentially have 4 access points as approved in the development order. We have motion and second. We did have a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, likewise? This will move forward subject to comments.
Thank you.
And this brings us to the last item on our agenda this morning, item number 19, the shops at 393. It's a request to approve a final order being reviewed by Tim Brown.
Yes, this is a major development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering requesting approval to develop 128 apartments, 21,242 square feet of commercial space, and a 5,575 square foot amenity area with associated infrastructure on 15.58 acres with a future land use of VMU. It's located on the west side of County Road 393 north of Highway 98 and south of Newitt Lane. This is the remaining property after SEFCO of the previously approved Pastels PUD, which has since expired. Quite a number of comments, outstanding planning comments, environmental comments, engineering, traffic, and there's some outstanding scenic corridor comments. A lot of this is fairly minor, but there are quite a number of comments overall.
Comments from the applicant?
Yeah, Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering. As Tim said, this is kind of an adjacent project to the SEFCO, which recently went to DRB and will go to Planning Commission this month. And it is the remainder of the property that was previously known as the Pastels PUD. We did get the comments yesterday and have gone through all of them. It looks like that most of these are either clarification questions or labeling questions or submittal items, but I didn't see anything that would really change anything as far as the design goes for the overall site. And it looks like we can address them, pretty quickly and pretty easily. We would like the opportunity to go ahead and go to DRB because, as you guys know, they can kind of be a little picky at times and may change some of the site considerations also.
Next, we got a number of DRB or scenic corridor comments that are outstanding, or standards that are not yet met. We're going to be able to address all of that before DRB.
Yes, sir. The reason that I think you have that many comments is that we initially just provided the information for the commercial stuff that fronts 98 and not for the things that were in the back because it was outside that area. But Tim wants to see all of it, which is not a problem. We have that information. We just didn't submit it originally.
See any problem with addressing these comments and getting it back to us in time to re-review prior to DRB?
I don't. No.
Yeah, there was a little confusion. The site overall goes beyond the 400-foot scenic corridor designation. However, when Pastels came in, we reviewed that entire project as being in the scenic corridor and subject to DRB approval. So that's one reason Scott didn't provide the architectural plans for the apartments, but to be consistent with what we did previously, I'm saying the whole site is within the scenic corridor.
And we don't have a problem with providing that. That's not an issue.
Okay. Do we have any technical comments from our public? Lisa? Maybe our only public.
The public.
semi-public. Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Well, based on what I'm hearing, I'll make a motion to approve the project pending resolution of all outstanding comments / issues and move it forward to the design review board.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Aaron. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? So approved, subject to comment satisfaction to move forward to DRB.
Thank you.
And that actually concludes our agenda today.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor, please say aye. Thank you very much.
How do you decide
know.
if necessary we all ask?
Did you, not sure what piece? See the base for elevation determinations got hit.
We all
Made it a condition of his DO approval that he has to submit it for a WOMA. Because he was saying his base flood elevation is lower than the site.
That's correct. So his
Yeah, it was a summary of he could be ICPR all the way to the bay. So the best thing is he could submit it to FEMA and see if they would adopt it.
And I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
what the comments were going to be.
Right, and he's doing the same thing for this site as well. So that'll be the condition of his approval. Just throw it out there if you ever have that question.
Yeah, good.
Oh, you just want me to press it?
Yeah, no crackling like you're in.